Good morning, guys. My name is Miss Megan, Miss Cantrell, whatever you feel comfortable calling me. But I'm excited to get to talk to you this morning. We're going to be talking about infectious diseases. So for our standards and objectives, identify communicable diseases, their symptoms and how they are spread, identify prevention techniques and treatments, and then you guys will understand what infectious diseases are, know major classifications of infectious diseases, and provide examples. And you're going to know the ways to prevent infectious diseases. So before we start, does everybody have their backpack and can get a piece of paper out? Just a piece of paper and a pencil, please. Alright, so while a few of y'all are still getting that out, I want y'all to think about this in your head. You can jot it down as well, but you might have some background information from previous classes or something about infectious disease, but if you don't, that's okay, because we're going to jump right in when we go through our PowerPoint, but just kind of assess what your prior knowledge is. I want you to just jot down what you think an infectious disease is. It doesn't have to be long. You can put quick bullet points. Just what you think it is in your own words, an example of an infectious disease, and then what you think they are caused by. So you can keep it super simple, just the first thing that comes to your mind, or you might know some more information about it. I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to just jot something down. And then I'll have a few of you share in a second. Give it about another minute and then we'll get started. Alright, some of you still might be writing, but some of you look like you're finished. Can I have at least maybe one person raise their hand and tell me what they think an infectious disease is?
An infectious disease is a disease that can be passed on from one organ to another.
That's perfect. Alright, can somebody give us an example of what they think an infectious disease is?
I don't even know if this classifies, but yellow fever.
Okay. You're on the right track there. Alright, and then what do you think they're caused by? This could be a handful of things, but just something specific you wrote down. Anybody want to take a stab at it?
Bacteria.
Bacteria, good job. Alright. Y'all did really good with that. So, on the PowerPoint, sometimes you'll see stuff that is underlined. This looks like a lot, but you can just kind of jot down. It doesn't have to be word for word. But I have at the top, anything underlined in the PowerPoint, please write it down, okay? Because it will be important for the end. So, this is the definition of an infectious disease. An infectious disease is an illness due to a pathogen or its toxic product which arises through transmission from an infected person, an infected animal, or a contaminated lifeless object to a suspectable host. Okay? That's a lot, I know. You don't have to write it word for word, but it will be important in the end. So just jot that down. You can do bullet points, whatever is easiest for you. And then just put your pencil down on your desk to let me know that you're ready to move on. You have it written down, please. seconds, and we'll move on. Alright, is everybody good? If you didn't get it all jotted down, you can grab a partner next to you and copy off theirs if that's good with y'all. Alright, so there are some different types. We will talk about bacteria and viral diseases, okay? So bacterial diseases, there are thousands of infectious diseases. There are over 40 kinds commonly occur in the United States. And then viral diseases, that's just any disease caused by a virus. Pretty word for word right there, viral disease. So those are the two that we'll be discussing. So I have at the top again, write these on your paper. So you just have to write those. There's no definitions for them. So these are the 4 main infectious diseases caused by bacteria. Okay, we're going to be talking about strep throat, Lyme disease, meningitis, and tuberculosis. Some of these you may have heard of. You may even know somebody or yourself that has had them. But we'll get into detail with them once you jot those 4 down. Again, when you're done, just put your pencil down and then we'll move on. And everybody in the back, are you good on seeing the board? Everybody good? Awesome. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and move on from that one. So strep throat, on this one, you just have to write down the symptoms, okay? Because it's gonna come into factor when we do our activity later. But strep throat, some of you may have had it. Real quick, hand up if you've had it or you know somebody that's had strep throat. Yeah, this one's pretty common. A lot of us probably have had it or either know somebody that's had it. But this is when your nose or throat spread contact with mucus from an infected person. So it's pretty easy to get this. Feel like, especially the last few months, a lot of people might have had strep throat. But the symptoms for this, sore throat, swollen lymph nodes on the sides of the neck, headache, and fever. And like I said, this one's pretty common, and then the rest of the ones we get into will be more severe. So just jotting down the symptoms for this one. Alright, now we're going to get into Lyme disease. This is when someone is bitten by an infected tick. So the symptoms for this, red rash, fever, chills, and body aches. I'm gonna let you jot that down. And then I wanna see a show of hands of, does anybody know anybody that has had Lyme disease before? Real quick, just raise your hand if you know somebody that has had it. A few of you? Yeah. I think you 3 girls were the ones that raised your hands. The people that you knew that had Lyme disease, do you think it affected them in these ways? Do you think they had those symptoms? And there probably are other, symptoms that they could have happen, but those are like the main ones. Alright, now we're going to talk about meningitis. This is an infection of fluid in the spinal cord and the fluid that surrounds the brain. So anytime you're talking about something that affects your spinal cord or your brain, it's pretty serious. The symptoms for this, high fever, headache, vomiting, and stiff neck. Usually when somebody goes in and they're complaining about their neck, that's probably a doctor's first concern is, it's meningitis after they run tests and that sort of thing. But there are 2 types of this. one caused by bacteria and then the other caused by a virus. So just jot those symptoms down and then we'll move on once again. Does anybody, show of hands, know somebody with meningitis? I know we had a few for Lyme disease. Yeah. So meningitis, that one's pretty severe in most cases. Remember, pencil down just whenever you get the symptoms, just to show me that we're ready to move on. Alright, and the last main one we're going to talk about is tuberculosis. Tuberculosis is a contagious bacterial infection of the lungs. So anytime, again, I talked about on the last one affecting the spinal cord and brain, this one affects the lungs. So it also can be pretty severe if you don't treat it. The symptoms of this one is fatigue, so you just feel weak all the time. Weight loss, and that's not just a few pounds, a pound or two. That's a significant decrease in your weight. Mild fever and cough. And some of you may have heard tuberculosis be called TB. Has anybody heard that before? Just that shortened term for it. It's probably more common than hearing tuberculosis. So just quickly jot those symptoms down. Last time though, has anybody had somebody they know or personally had TB? A few of you? Did it affect them in those ways? Did they have a lot of those symptoms? Yeah. Give you a few more seconds to write those symptoms down. So for treating bacterial diseases, you can go to the doctor, you can get prescribed an antibiotic, and that is just a drug that inhibits or kills bacteria. These medicines either kill the bacteria as a whole, or they stop them multiplying, and then this helps your body's immune system fight the bacteria off. Does anybody know some ways that we might prevent diseases? Let's have at least 3 people maybe volunteer. Raise your hand. There we go. Thank you.
Washing your hands.
Washing your hands. That's my number one thing on here. Yep, that can go a long way. Even if you don't think about it, that can help eliminate a lot of infectious diseases. What about 2 more? 2 more people, raise your hand. Give me something that you think could help prevent diseases.
Sanitizing objects for the
Mhm.
people use them.
Yep, that is a real good one. All right, what about one more? One more. Who wants to volunteer for a volunteer? Anybody? What about you? Do you have one? There's a real simple one I'm thinking of. It's okay, I'm gonna share my list. So, my one that I think is real simple, if you feel bad, stay home, right? That can help eliminate a lot of sickness and spreading those diseases. So if you feel bad, stay home. You can learn to manage stress in healthy ways. Eat well-balanced meals. That can even play a factor. You might not consider what you're eating to affect your body like that, but it can. Avoid unhealthful substances, and then wash hands. So, how did you go with that? So, the different types of viral diseases, there's the common cold, influenza, which is long for the flu, pneumonia, and hepatitis. Now, I'm sure we probably all in here have had the common cold. Raise your hand if you've ever had the flu before. A lot of us again, or know somebody. And then pneumonia and hepatitis, of course. So. And we're not getting into the specifics of the viral diseases. We just went over more of the bacterial diseases today. But I'm gonna go ahead and move on. This is my last slide for this. and then we'll get into an activity, okay guys? So, suppression versus mitigation. Suppression, that is just aims to keep cases to an absolute minimum for as long as possible. So basically keeps a disease from happening, reoccurring. And then mitigation, it aims to allow a controlled outbreak to occur with the aim of preventing significant overloads on healthcare systems and then gradually allowing the population to develop herd immunity. So all those long words minimizes loss. So suppression keeps it from happening. Mitigation minimizes the loss. And you don't have to write anything down on that one. So, you probably could have all guessed that. Our most recent infectious disease is COVID-19. Raise your hand real quick if you've had COVID or you know somebody that it's affected. A few of us, several of us. But that's like the main one. You know, it has its specific symptoms that could happen, which is different for everybody. And then, you know, there are the shots that you can start to take, but they're still trying to figure that one out. But that is the most recent that people talk about is COVID. But real quick, we're gonna do a worksheet and then we'll get into an activity. But this worksheet requires you using your Chromebooks. So, do y'all normally just come up and get your Chromebooks? Is that how y'all do that?
Yeah, normally, or you can go by row, either
Row?
one.
Okay, cool, we'll do that. Okay, if y'all, this first row, y'all wanna go up and get your Chromebooks, you can. While they're doing that, after this row goes, we'll just go so on down the class. But I'm gonna be passing this worksheet out. While y'all do that. Goes back, keep one and pass it back. Keep one and pass it back. Is it going?
Thomas, show me where you at.
I swear you put them on.
If there's extra, just make them come back up.
I mean, nine.
Take one and pass it back. Alright, does everybody have their Chromebook? Are we good to go? Alright, so you can see I handed out this worksheet. It just says wanted at the top. It's just a cute little fun worksheet we're gonna do. But you can either take from the notes of what we talked about, the few diseases we discussed, or you can look up your own. But I want you to just type, you probably could search infectious diseases and a whole list would come up. But you're gonna pick one that you think sounds interesting to you. And I want you to write it right under wanted, the specific disease you pick out, list a few of the symptoms, write, you know, what it affects, maybe what part of the body, you know, the symptoms, all that, and then you can probably type in an image, and most images are probably gonna look like some little form of bacteria, like little speckles, little dots, something like that, and just do that at the bottom, okay? So we want the infectious disease name that you choose, the symptoms that the disease has on your body, and then what it affects, okay? Does everybody understand that? And then you can raise your hand if you have questions or you need help. But I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to work on that, okay? And it doesn't have to be long at all when you're doing the symptoms, just do them in bullet points, keep it simple. And then at the end, I'm gonna have a few of you share. Do y'all understand what you're doing? Good job. And if you're having trouble narrowing down an infectious disease you wanna do your paper on, just type in common infectious diseases and the ones I told you about will pop up, but if you wanna pick a different one, that's fine too. Just find something you think is interesting and go from there. Okay, so what we're doing, we're doing from the course, we will research, an infectious disease, polio, I discussed, or a new one, just something that interests you, and, whatever you, when you get, you'll write the title, whatever it is, like meningitis, got the symptoms, maybe what part of the body it affects, the system it affects, and then you get on drainage, you'll probably have some sort of bacteria picture, which just looks like little doctor specs, but just kinda, draw that at the bottom. Again, remember, you can raise your hand and I'll come around if you need help with anything, or you just have a question about the worksheet. Mr. Hennigan, he's gonna get out some markers or some kind of coloring, things that he have. If you want to, you can add it to your paper just to make it more interesting for y'all. It's an option though, y'all don't have to, but if you want to, they'll be up here in the front, okay? quick show of hands. Will anybody want markers or colored pencils, and I'll pass them out, but if not, it's totally fine. Anybody? Are we all good? Okay, thank you. Just a few more minutes and then I'll have a few of you share. Alright, raise your hand real quick if you're still working. Okay, about 2 more minutes. Will that give y'all enough time? Okay, we'll do 2 more minutes and then we'll go into our activity. Alright, I'm gonna have everybody freeze. Just go ahead and put your pencils down. You can go ahead and shut your Chromebooks. We'll be done with those for today. Can I have somebody volunteer to share what they did for their wanted poster? Does anybody want to share? You can either come up to the front, you can stand up, or you can just share from your seat, whatever y'all feel comfortable doing. Does anybody want to share? Y'all gonna make me pick some. Oh, thank you. Alright, you can share from your seat, you can stand, whatever you wanna do.
I picked the stomach virus. Symptoms of stomach virus is pain in the abdomen, diarrhea, stomach cramps, indigestion, vomiting, dehydration, loss of appetite, headache, and weight loss.
That's perfect. Do you care if I show everybody your picture too? Okay, alright, so he did perfect. So he wrote at the top his disease, all his symptoms, he gave several, so that's great. And then at the bottom, he just drew a little picture of what that would look like, whatever his Chromebook showed him, okay? Good job, thank you for sharing. Alright, can I have a few more? Who else wants to share? Y'all gonna make me pick? Anybody over here wanna share? Yeah, thank you.
I have hepatitis, and the symptoms are fever, fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, dark urine, blood causing stools, joint pain, and jaundice, and it affects your liver and causes inflammation.
That's perfect. So see, she put her disease, the symptoms, and then what it affects. So that was a step even better. Alright, let's have at least 3 more. Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so I did the flu and caused a sore throat, cough, chills and sweat, stuffy nose, a fever, and weakness. And this is my little picture.
Awesome. Everybody turn around. Everybody see her picture. She did great. Thank you for sharing. Alright, 2 more.
Thank you. I had meningococcal disease. The symptoms are fatigue, vomiting, cold hands and feet, severe aches, pain in the muscles, joints, chest, or abdomen, stiff neck, and photophobia. It was a serious bacterial illness that can lead to serious swelling of the tissue surrounding the brain and spine.
Awesome. Thank you for holding it up. So this was hers. She did lots of information and then her picture. So, real simple. It's just getting y'all to do a little research on what we learned and then kind of make it your own. Alright, one more. One more and then we'll go into our activity. Anybody over here wanna share? You wanna go? Perfect, thank you so much.
I did the stomach flu. The symptoms are watery diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting, and sometimes fever, and it affects your intestines.
Yeah, he did a real detailed picture, that's awesome. Does everybody see that? Alright, thank you everybody that shared and participated in that. Y'all did really good with that, but I just kinda wanted to see if you could take what we just learned and kinda turn it into your own. So, y'all did good. So, we're gonna do a group activity now, so this will require y'all participating again, which I appreciate y'all been doing that, so how this will work. So students will be selected to come act as a patient, and then the patient will read to the class a list of symptoms, which I have right here. So this can be like your patient card. And then the class will guess which disease the patient has. So it will be what we discussed. So if you wrote down everything on the slides I showed you, everything that was underlined, right? Told you that would be important later, then you'll get them, okay? It was the formatting that we talked about, everything that was underlined on the slides, y'all will be doing now, okay? So how this will work, I'm gonna show you without showing you the name. So it just has our symptoms right here. So I have read to class with an arrow. So whoever's the patient will come up here, say, I have a red rash, fever, chills, body aches, and then what disease do you think I have? And the disease is at the top, okay? So from what you learned, the class is gonna be trying to guess, okay? You can just call it out, you can raise your hand, it doesn't matter. Who wants to be our first patient? Does anybody want to be our first patient? Who's just dying to do it? Or am I gonna have to choose? Y'all been doing so good about participating. Let's see, you want to be our first patient? Okay, I'll let you pick since you're going first. Which one do you want? Okay. Remember, don't read the top, we'll give it away.
Okay. My symptoms are high fever, headache, vomiting, and stiff neck. So, what disease do I have? Wow. Yeah, I do have meningitis for
Good job, guys. So that was super quick, super easy. Thank you for being our first patient. So it will get easier as we go, of course, because there's only 4. So now we're down to 3. And if you kept up with the notes during the slides, it's gonna be super easy. So he did great. So yeah, at the top it just says disease, meningitis. Of course he didn't want to share that, but he shared his symptoms, and then he asked, what disease do you think I had? So good job. All right, we got 3 more. You're just gonna keep getting easier. All right, who wants to be patient number 2?
I'll give it a
You
shot.
wanna go?
Yeah.
Okay, which one do you want? All right.
Alright, my symptoms are fatigue, weight loss, mild fever, and cough. What disease do you have?
Tuberculosis, y'all got it. Thank you.
No problem.
Alright, so we've done 2, we got 2 left. And I know they get super easy, but I just kinda want y'all to be involved, participating. Alright, who would like to do patient number 3? Anybody over here? You wanna do it? Okay. Thank you.
I have red rash, fever, chills, and body aches.
Lyme disease.
Awesome, good job guys, thank you. See, I told y'all, if y'all just keep up with the slides, it'll be super easy. Alright, last one. Who wants it? Anybody want to volunteer? It's the last time you're gonna get to go. I know, it's tempting. Anybody? Anybody? You wanna go? No, you participated for me earlier, so thank you. Alright, she's our last one. Should be pretty easy to guess what disease she has, but
My symptoms are a sore throat, swollen lymph nodes on the side of my neck, headache, and a fever. What disease do I have?
Y'all got it. How did you know? Good job, guys. Alright, so those were our 4 main ones that we discussed. We did our activity, which was a great little review game, you know, just kind of do a little refresher. So we did the slides, we did that. Y'all did your worksheet. I'm just gonna ask a few questions to see, you know, before you leave. But y'all did great with that, so I really appreciate y'all doing that. So these are called hot questions. They're just kind of like higher order thinking questions to get y'all, you know, referring back to what we did in our lesson. So, what disease has symptoms of fatigue, weight loss, mild fever, and cough? Tuberculosis. Y'all didn't even have to look at your papers. That was awesome. Alright, what are the ways you can prevent disease?
Wash hands, always sanitize.
Antibiotics.
Yep, you got it, you got it. What's the one I said that was super easy and like really common?
Just stay home.
Staying home, yeah, stay home if you're not feeling well. Alright, our last one. What is an infectious disease? This was that long one I had you write, the very first slide. One person wants to raise their hand. We don't have to have everybody shouting this one out.
An illness that can be spread from an infected person, animal, or contaminated object.
You got it. Those are just my references, but y'all did great. Thank y'all for participating and being patient with me. But I really did appreciate y'all, you know, giving me feedback and helping me out throughout the lesson by participating. So, thank y'all.